Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Pitt Meadows Chamber of Commerce podcast, All Up in Your Business. My name is Kristi Maier. I am the CEO of the Pitt Meadows Chamber of Commerce. I'm here with President Jerry Koch, our very first podcast.
Oh, thanks for having me, Kristi.
Yeah, we'd like to recognize that we are seated on the territories of the Kwallen and Katzie First Nations. So let's get into it. Jerry, tell me a little bit about why you chose to be the president of the Pitt Meadows Chamber and your journey to get here.
Oh, perfect. Well, I guess 2.5 years ago or so, I decided to join the board of directors. Our company had been with the chamber for a number of years, and I didn't feel like we were really doing much with the membership. So when I got my office position, I thought it would be good for me to get involved with the chamber. So did some research, found out about the board of directors. There was nominations coming up. I put my name forward and I made the board of directors. So for a year, I was just one of the board. Not just, I suppose, but because we're a group working together. I didn't choose to be president. You get nominated. Al from our board nominated me to be president, and then it went to a vote, and here I am.
Were you slightly voluntold?
No, it was, well, Kristi was involved for sure with the voluntold part. But I think I took the position not really knowing 100% what the position entailed. So it was a steep learning curve, and it's been great. It's been 1.5 years of learning, of getting involved with both communities, Maple Ridge and Pitt Meadows, with businesses, just being out at events and meeting great people. And it's been a whirlwind. Like the 1.5 years has flown by.
I remember meeting you for the first time at a coffee shop, and, I got to meet the board of directors one by one, and you had great energy. You were positive. Me being part of a chamber for, so long, I kind of knew what a good president, what the qualities of a good president was. And you had those qualities. And the board of directors at the time came up to me and said, "What do you think about Jerry?" I was like, I didn't know you that well, but I could tell that you would be a really dedicated president. So I was all on board.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, I sort of look at this, although it's a volunteer position, as a second job. I take it pretty serious. I'm not the type of person to take on a position like this, sort of be the face of the board and just do it half-heartedly. I've taken a pretty big interest in this, which has been great for me too. Learning about the chamber world and getting involved in things with the city, whether it's city initiatives or chamber initiatives that we involve the cities in. It's been really good, but certainly you have to put the time and effort into it to do the things, at least the way I think they should be done.
I don't think there's an event that you've missed.
Yeah, probably not. And this is, for me, this is like a second job, even though it's volunteer. And yeah, I put in a lot of hours, but I care about the chamber. And I want to see the chamber grow, and I want to see it get to a position in our community where I think it deserves to be. It's a different chamber than it was, 50 years ago, and we need to do things a little bit differently. The chamber that I want to be part of and that I want to be a leader in is inclusive, it's diverse, a chamber where anybody's welcome and everybody's welcome, and that we're actively involved in the community. And that takes effort. We want to hear from all our board of directors in order for this chamber to grow. Everybody comes from a different background and everybody has different ideas. It needs to be, where people are sharing and people are working together and collaborative and trying to get the chamber to this fantastic place.
If you could give any advice to somebody who's looking to be on a board of directors, whether it be our organization, other charities or nonprofits, what kind of advice would you give them?
I think there's a few things. You have to dedicate the time. Do your homework. You need to source out information. You need to be ready to work with the board. The other thing is that you need to be involved in community events, depending obviously on what organization you're with, but certainly from a chamber perspective where it's really important that we're involved, whether it's the summer games that are coming here to Maple Ridge, or we're at a networking event, or we're hosting an event. you need to be present for those things. And I get a calendar sort of a year out from the office here, and I put stuff on my calendar and I work around that. I prioritize, and I want to know when things are happening so that I can attend. And I think that's an important quality for a board member.
Our board of directors are very passionate about business. A lot of them are either partners in their business or small businesses themselves. And so when you look around the room, the passion is there when you're speaking about business.
Yeah, I
right?
certainly agree. And from a chamber perspective, the folks that are sitting around our table are all, like you say, business owners or managers or, fairly high up in their organization. And they're passionate about business. They want to see our communities, both Maple Ridge and Pitt Meadows, they want to see that business community grow. We want to see the business community thrive. And I think, obviously, from the chamber perspective, that's our goal. But the people on the board individually that is their goal as well. Passion is a huge part of it.
Being a member means you're part of the business community here in Maple Ridge and Pitt Meadows. So I think becoming a member is also be passionate about your business community. If you're passionate about it, then being a member of your local chamber is important.
Absolutely. And you make a great point, because being a member also takes a commitment. It is not just signing up and then putting your hands up and going, okay, let's see what happens. Use your membership to your business's advantage. And I see that with my own business. We host a networking event, but I'm representing my business at our networking events. I'm out there talking up, my driving school business and handing out cards and giving people information. And you need to sort of work your membership for this to really work well for your business. Mm-hmm. Again, if you just sign up to be on, a member of the chamber and do nothing with it and never go to an event and never support other local businesses, you're not really getting full benefit out of it, I find. You need to work it. You need to really put in some effort, and you will get some huge benefit.
Like a gym membership, you're not going to meet your physical goals unless you actually use.
Well, that was my problem with my gym membership.
You have to, yeah, exactly. You have to go in order, or you have to be involved in order to see results.
It's like a gym membership. That's a great analogy, because it is, if you work this, you have an opportunity to grow your business, but it takes effort. You need to plan around it. You need to actually attend events. You need to talk to people. You need to be comfortable with that. It's amazing how much business I've gotten from networking, from going to events, from handing out my card. And it might not be that person, but you know what? They have a neighbor, they have a cousin, they have somebody on their son's soccer team who needs lessons, and they go, hey, you know what? I know somebody, right? And when they put a face to the business, they're going to call you. This is a relationship game. All business is relationships. So that is an advantage of being part of a chamber of commerce in your community, is that you get to meet people face to face, and you get to know them and say, you know what? I know a lawyer, or I know a accountant, or a graphic artist, or whatever it might be.
Hey there, it's Dara, the Events and Engagement Coordinator for the Ridge Meadows Chamber, chiming in for our mid-episode member benefit feature. Ever wonder how you can offer your team the very best in group benefits? The Chamber of Commerce Group Insurance Plan is an exclusive member benefit that's here to make your life easier and your employees happier. This isn't just any ordinary benefits package. With the Chamber's plan, you're tapping into a treasure trove of sought-after group benefits designed to meet the diverse needs of your team. Whether you're a small startup or an established business, this plan has got you covered. You've got everything from extended health care to dental and vision care, life insurance, disability benefits, and so many more customizable options. Running a business with fewer than 5 employees? Not a problem. The Chamber's plan is designed with flexibility in mind, ensuring you can still provide top-notch benefits without breaking the bank. Through the Ridge Meadows Chamber, the Chamber Group Plan is provided by S&F Group Benefits. These longtime supporters of the RMCC are the best around when it comes to your business's insurance. You can give their office a call at 604-514-3347 for any questions you may have about the Chamber Group Insurance Plan. That's 604-514-3347. Don't miss out on this fantastic opportunity to elevate your employees' benefits game. Join the Chambers of Commerce Group Insurance Plan today and watch your business thrive.
So moving away from the chamber side of things, you run a driving school, but you have quite a interesting past with driving.
In a good way.
In a good way. In a very good way. Tell me a little bit about Driving Limited, and then also maybe go into a little bit of your career.
Okay. Sure. Hard to go into a little bit without getting too long-winded, but I'll try to keep it succinct. So Driving Unlimited has been around for about 25 years, and we have sort of various divisions. So currently, I'm the general manager of our new driving division. So that would be for typically for 16-year-old kids learning how to drive. Of course, there's going to be people in their 20s or 30s that have never had a license and are learning to drive, or people that are new to the country, those sorts of things. But when we talk about a new driving school, we're thinking typically of that 16-year-old driver. And we've got cars all across the Lower Mainland, in Kelowna and Victoria, so it's a pretty big operation. We're ICBC approved graduated licensing program, so we teach the GLP, where kids will get 2 high school credits and 6 months off their end. That's pretty important. We also are the largest school that does instructor training as well in BC. So every 3 weeks or so, we're running another class, and we do that year round, and we're booked months in advance for that. Prior to this, for 15 years or so, I was an advanced driving instructor. Our primary client was Mercedes-Benz and AMG. So what that entailed was teaching people to drive mostly on racetracks at sort of high rates of speed, doing it safely, and really an experiential event for them. So a lot of our clients would buy these high-end supercars, and you never really get a chance to experience what the car is all about until you get it onto a racetrack and you're doing well over 200 kilometers an hour and then going into a corner. It's funny, people always come to our events and they want to know what their top speed was that they hit. And it really depends on the track. Is there a long straight? The hardest part of it is being able to take corners and do it safely and keep the car on the track. And those are the things that we taught. We also ran a really cool winter program on Lake Winnipeg, where we would build 8 kilometers of track on the frozen lake in sort of middle of February. So it was super cold, obviously, and studded tires, 600 horsepower cars, and sliding them around. Been all across Canada, US as well, worked the auto show circuit for a while, did training on new vehicle launches and stuff. So if a manufacturer would have a new vehicle, they would hire us to teach their salespeople about the features of the vehicle. Led expeditions of journalists to Tuktoyaktuk, Arctic Ocean, in the middle of winter. Minus 56 was as cold as we've seen. And I've done that a number of times. It's basically 3,500 kilometers north of here. And really one of those types of events that you as an individual would never get the opportunity to do, because one, it's just not safe to go with one vehicle. You need to have, support vehicles and so forth, and just super cool experiences. This is a long conversation, what I used to do, because there's so many facets to it.
How on earth, did you even get to begin teaching these wealthy human beings how to drive?
It's my brother's company, and when he started Driving Unlimited 25 years ago, it started off, doing police driver training and that sort of thing. We do training for a lot of undercover squads and surveillance and those sorts of things. And the business sort of grows from doing that type of training to all of a sudden a manufacturer going, if you can teach the police to drive at, fairly high rates of speed, can you maybe do something with our clients on a racetrack and that sort of thing? So it sort of, I guess, grew organically. We got involved with Mercedes-Benz. We were Mercedes-Benz Driving Academy, and it started off in a parking lot, teaching people collision avoidance. And then they said, well, let's do some track days. And then they said, okay, let's get our AMG brand, which is sort of the performance division of Mercedes-Benz. Let's get them involved and get some AMG cars, which were, the high horsepower and that sort of thing. It just keeps morphing, if you will. And then we went from one day on the racetrack to all of a sudden a 2.5 day event, which people could get a race license with. Who knows what would have happened when COVID hit? A couple things kind of hurt that business. One is people couldn't travel. And a lot of our clients came from the US, came from Europe, even just across Canada. But also it was very difficult to get cars. We always had the latest vehicles, but plants had shut down. There were staffing issues and so forth, and then supply chain. And all of a sudden the production of cars kind of came to a grinding halt. And if you remember, just here, even in our local community, if you look at the car dealerships, there was car lots that sat empty for a long time because they just couldn't get vehicles built and brought over.
Who's the biggest celebrity that you've trained to drive? Like, who would be like where you were starstruck, or like somebody else would be starstruck and go, oh my goodness, like you taught this person?
Yeah, we try not to be starstruck. You know, just locally here, we had Roberto Luongo for a day with AMG. Russell Wilson and Sierra came to our winter sporting event. You know, those would probably be the biggest names, if you will,
That people know.
that people know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have a lot of high-end clients that are people in tech, that are people in the medical field, that are entrepreneurs of different backgrounds and stuff. And even though those people might not have that sort of celebrity status,
Yeah.
they're living that same lifestyle.
Yeah.
They're in that, you know, same income bracket as some of those people that I mentioned. It was interesting, you know, we had, like I mentioned, Sierra, Russell Wilson's driving, and she was there to watch or whatever, to, you know, support him. She sends a tweet out, it was Twitter at the time, and within an hour it was 500,000 likes. Everybody's liking Russell Wilson driving on the ice. So yeah, so
That's cool.
some pretty cool sort of experiences like that, and meeting people. Some people that came through our programs, they sort of like to keep a lower profile too.
I thought, like, when you said you teaching them how to race, like on a racetrack, I was expecting like just a straightaway. But the fact that you're like doing that and then you're hitting a corner just
Absolutely.
doesn't seem humanly possible.
It's all about, are you able to carry some speed in the corner and how to do that safely? And once people learn that, that is the exhilarating part. It is, yeah, it's cool to go 240, 250 kilometers an hour down a straight, but can you get the car slowed down for the right speed for the corner after that? Anybody can step on a gas pedal, right? But it's about timing, it's about vision, it's about smoothness of doing the things at the right time in order to be able to manage a corner after that kind of speed, right? You have to get the car slowed.
Do you have like a dream track to drive on?
Yeah, like
A dream track?
Yeah, or like one that you've already done and that you would want to go back to.
Yeah, well, I've been to the Nürburgring, which is probably the most famous track. I worked with the AMG team there. So I wasn't necessarily driving it like from a participant point of view. I was more teaching on that track. But that is a track that is world famous. It's got, you know, history from the early 1900s of when parts of the track was built. So that was a super cool track. The other track that I really enjoyed working on is in Montreal, the Formula One track. We had the opportunity to drive that track with our customers, do some lapping on the Thursday night before the Formula One race. All the grandstands were set up, and they had the corner workers and all the pit garages are all set up. Getting to drive that in the environment of a Formula One setting, everything painted, all the signs up, you have that feeling of everything's there. This is what the drivers are seeing when they're out here.
That's cool.
Driving a race. So yeah, that was a super cool experience as well.
You still go out on track? Like you went to Mission Raceway a while ago.
Yeah, so we still use Mission for local stuff, but we don't haven't traveled to a racetrack.
Did you do like zoomies? Would you ever take Kristi?
I want to go to
A
Zoomy.
Zoomy probably meaning a hot lap, meaning take her out in a car.
AKA, no, because he will never trust me in a car. So I guess the last question I'd have, and it has to do with cars. What would be your dream car?
My dream car. That's a great question. It would probably be something along the AMG brand because I've worked with them so long, so I'm very familiar with AMG. So any of the AMG brand are great. Sort of bang for buck, like a C63 would probably be the car that I would want the most. Just working with that brand, that would probably be a car that I would choose. And the sound that AMG makes, if anybody's familiar with it, is it's like almost like a muscle car, you know, of the 60s when you hear that rumble. And that's what AMG has. I mean, they have engineers that work specifically on what kind of sound the car makes.
Okay, well, so to conclude, if you want to just plug your business.
Sure. So our company is Driving Unlimited Academy. So our website is duacademy.com. We do all kinds of driver training. We do corporate groups as well. So outside of the new driving division, we do a lot of corporate training, so collision avoidance courses for fleet drivers and so forth. So if you have a business that has a fleet and you're looking for some safety training for your drivers, we certainly take care of that as well.
If you have any children looking to learn how to drive Driving Unlimited is the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting us get all up in your business.
Yes, it's been my pleasure.
Thanks for tuning in. Join us next time with Michelle Sellars, owner of Cascadia Dog Training based out of Pitt Meadows, BC. On or off the leash, Cascadia is able to give you the dog you've always wanted. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and use the hashtag AllUpInYourBusiness to stay in the loop and in the conversation.